The difference of a crypto is the nature of a crypto. Because it's a cryptocurrency, can be used like a currency. It's because it's like a measuring tape of economy. It's all about how many people hold it makes it more valuable. Here's an example. Let's say Europe was just the three of us in this room. There was nobody in Europe. It was just wild forests. And there was three of us. And we create the euro. And the three of us adopt the euro. The euro is not going to be very valuable as a currency with only 3 people using it, correct? Mm-hmm. But then what if we discovered that beyond the forest, there was 300 million people in Northern Europe? We went up there and we said, will you use the euro? And they said, yes. Well, now, can you see how much value is going to be in the euro used by 303 million people to measure the economy of what they do every day? It's like 2 parallel systems. One is the real economy, and the other one is the money that measures the economy. So actually, when people are creating cryptocurrency communities, they're actually stealing value away from the euro or the dollar, real value, and putting it into those cryptocurrencies.
Where do you see that going in the next 12 months?
They're all coming to life in hyperspeed.
Let's talk about NFTs. Yeah, NFTs. My favorite.
Explain NFTs to people that don't know what you're talking about, because I don't know what you're talking about. I do, but I don't. I know it's a non-fungible token.
Yes,
I'm not
offering you the opportunity to own a piece of history digitally.
Welcome back, Steve.
Thank you.
What up, my friend? Long time no see.
Yeah, it's been
a year already.
No, not quite.
Not 8 months.
9 months.
9 months. 9 COVID months. It's like 2 years of real life. Andrea. I had a friend the other day, and he told me, hey, do you remember last year when we did something, I don't know, it was pre-COVID, and I told him, it was 3 years ago. Mm. And he was like, fuck, it's been 2 years COVID era. Cada vez.
True.
So, share your news with us.
Well, there's been a lot of news. The crypto world is moving at hyperspeed. So
there's a frenzy around crypto.
It's a frenzy, right? So every month is like a year in crypto time, right? If you whatever you learned a month ago, 1 month later, things are changing. It's hyperspeed.
Is that normal?
No, this change is happening faster than any tech trend I've been through in my life. Well, I think it's a factor of exponential speed of technological development. This was a theory that someone predicted some years back. They said the amount of change that happened between the time of Christ and the Renaissance of 1600 was maybe 2 times technical progress and change in that 1600 years. And then the amount of change that happened from the Renaissance till the beginning of the Industrial Revolution was the pace of technological change doubled again. Then from the Industrial Revolution up until, let's say, the 1930s, it doubled again. Yeah. But from 1930 to 1980, it doubled again. From 1980 to 2000, it doubled again. And now it's doubling at faster and faster speeds, the rate of technological change.
If you consider that since we had that talk 8 months, 9 months ago, we have new words in the dictionary that people are like super pumped to learn everything that's going around them. NFTs, Metaverse, and DAO. I want to ask you about that thing. I have no clue what's a DAO. I mean, I have a clue.
Yeah.
But my question is, where do you see that going in the next 12 months?
They're all coming to life in hyperspeed. So, you're going to see them actualize, all of those things. They all go together as well. NFTs, DAOs, and metaverses are sort of all related together in some way. So if you have a DAO, you probably also have a metaverse, and it has NFTs in it. They go together. So I think it also could be seen like a harvest. Farmer he plants his land, he waits 9 months, and then the harvest comes in. And if 10 years ago you planted 6 different crops and they take 10 years to come in, when it comes in, it's almost overwhelming, how much harvest that you have. This is what happened over the last 10 years with technology. So many different technologies were developing at the same time, and now they're all cross-connecting in real fast terms. And as you said, it's creating a cultural revolution. The word DAO, it stands for Distributed Autonomous Organization. And anybody who's worked in a company or as a lawyer or a director or created a company knows that the corporate structures that we have are very old school.
What do you mean? The hierarchy.
They're very hierarchical. You have a board of directors and shareholders, and the board of directors appoints the chief executive, and he's the guy in charge, and he has employees below him. And basically, it's a game played by lawyers and accountants and executives in terms of manipulating and controlling what that company does, whether it pays dividends, whether it buys it or sells, or what businesses it gets into. It's made by a very small group of people who are primarily interested in making money.
Yeah, the major stakeholders, I would say.
Yeah, the point of a company was making money, and it was in the hands of very few people. But now that we have, it's a series of things, but a distributed autonomous organization means instead of having a company, you have a smart contract on the blockchain with a kind of a voting rules. And then you could have 10,000 members in the organization that decides what you're going to do instead of 6 guys.
Can you explain to the people who listen and watch this, what's a smart contract?
Yeah, a smart contract is basically just a piece of software that you can put into the blockchain. And what's important about a smart contract is this idea of trust. If you're a shareholder, a small shareholder in a company, you don't know they're going to change things, what they're talking about in the boardroom, what deals are being made in a smoky cigar bar. There's no transparency and trust. Trust is breaking down in the modern society because it's been abused. But if you can see the rules of a piece of software in a smart contract, which cannot be changed because it's on the blockchain so everyone can read it, and it cannot be modified, it's like the rules of monopoly. If we put them in a smart contract on the blockchain and they could never be changed, you and I would have confidence to invest a lot in that game because you wouldn't show up one day and I say, I've changed the rules, and you lose your pieces. Anything. Yeah, so it creates trust. And trust creates economy and activity, right? So smart contracts, while it's just a little bit of computer code, no big deal. It's the fact that it's in the blockchain where it can't be changed and where you and I can both see it transparently. We know what the rules of the game are, and the rules of the game can't be changed without our permission. So it's a big shift in, like, how would you say, the pyramid system of a hierarchy into a system, a more democratic system where you can have 10,000 20-year-old kids who create a game, and they put the source code up on the internet for anybody to build off of, and they create a DAO, a distributed autonomous organization, not a company. They create a DAO. They have voting. It has they all vote every 6 months on the direction of what they should be doing, and it's a community-controlled company, enforced through the blockchain. Makes it manageable.
Could we say that behind every crypto, behind every NFT project, behind every DAO project, there's a community?
Yeah.
Because my next question is, let's say I want to invest, I want to play. How do I choose the right project to put my money into, and what should I expect in a given period of time? Okay,
so you have 2 playgrounds now that, before it was just crypto tokens.
Yep.
And now it's crypto tokens or NFTs. NFTs are a form of crypto token. So it's a derivative, it's a kind of a sidecar of a crypto token. So but you have 2 choices. You could be looking at crypto tokens, or you could be looking at investing in NFTs. And to give you a sense,
both.
or both, and they often go together. You know, some people have crypto systems and NFTs, like we have both. But if you look at what to expect in a time frame, we're in a very rare time in history, like a gold rush. When there's big change, there's big gains and big losses. You know, there's some people who will be losing money, and some people will be gaining money. I would say
most of the people, because we are naive and greedy. I remember the time where the stock exchange in Cyprus was like booming.
Yeah.
Even my grandmother was buying shares. My grandmother, she didn't even graduate primary school, and she was buying shares. That was the stock market rush for Cyprus, and I sense that we are kind of reliving the same thing in a greater scale.
No, it's extremely different. It's a very good point
in
to
terms
bring
of
up.
investing, and
it's not the same. And I think I'm one of the few people that can explain this point.
Okay, go ahead.
Because I think this is the thing. A lot of people who are not involved in it feel down, oh, this can't be real. They don't understand money, and NFTs makes it a bit easier to understand. But let's just talk about the difference of when everybody was buying in the stock market, let's say a company X, okay, let's say company X sold lamps and they did €1 million of profit per year, and they had 2 shareholders. And now everybody's buying that share. Now they have 20,000 shareholders. Does the company's profit change?
No.
It does not. So no matter how many people buy that stock, it does not change the business.
What about the value of, I mean, and correct me if I'm wrong, when many people buy shares, does the price of the share goes up? It
goes up, but maybe the money doesn't go to the company. If the shares were already out on the market, right, and the price of the share goes from €20 to €200, but the company doesn't get any of those resources to build the business further out, the stock price is going up, the company's not getting any additional resources, and the business isn't changing. So in those cases, you can get huge bubbles and collapses. Yeah. People are simply pumping up the stock price, but they're not creating more value in the company. Now, the difference of a crypto is the nature of a crypto is that because it's a cryptocurrency, can be used like a currency. A currency is all about, it's because it's like a measuring tape of economy. It's all about how many people hold it makes it more valuable. So here's an example. Let's say Europe was just the 3 of us in this room. There was nobody in Europe. It was just wild forests, and there was 3 of us, and we create the euro. And the 3 of us adopt the euro. The euro is not going to be very valuable as a currency with only 3 people using it, correct? Mm-hmm. But then what if we discovered that beyond the forest, there was 300 million people in Northern Europe? We went up there and we said, will you use the euro? And they said, yes. Well, now, can you see how much value is going to be in the euro used by 303 million people to measure the economy of what they do every day? It's like 2 parallel systems. One is the real economy, and the other one is the money that measures the economy. So actually, when people are creating cryptocurrency communities, they're actually stealing value away from the euro or the dollar, real value, and putting it into those cryptocurrencies. And the more people that buy and hold a cryptocurrency, and use the cryptocurrency, the more value it gets. That's not the same in the stock market. Also with NFTs or art, let's say.
And music and sports.
If there's only 2 people, well, yeah, it works, but the stock market is different, right? But the more people, in other words, the more people that admire a piece of art and desire it, the more value it gets, right?
Yeah,
so if
let's say Mona Lisa.
Yeah. If people are buying shares in the Mona Lisa, somebody could say, well, the value isn't going up, but because art is subjective, and it's basically just how much does the world value that piece, how much are people willing to pay for it? So it's in the stock market, more people buying just can create a bubble, okay? in the crypto world, the more people that buy crypto, it's not necessarily the same bubble, okay? And NFTs is like in the middle, right? The more people that value an NFT, they are making the NFT more valuable, a little bit more valuable or a lot more valuable. Now, of course, any of those things could crash, right? Nothing's crash proof. A crypto could crash down and lose its value. An NFT could crash down and lose its value. And a company in the stock market could crash down and lose its value. But the difference is that if a community of people will hold and use it, it's all about the community, right? If a community of people, or just think in Cyprus, in a village, let's say everybody went back to the villages and there was 400 currencies created in 400 villages. And when you went in a village, everybody said, we use our local currency. So if you want to buy bread here, you have to use this thing. And you go, how do I get the currency? Maybe they accept exchange of another currency, or they say, work in the fields for a day and we'll give you some currency and you can go buy something to eat.
That's the mining thing, let's say?
Yeah.
Kind of.
But you see, the power of a currency is real. If a community, a village says, this is our money, then that currency gains value. And actually, that's the high level thing, what's happening here. It's another way of saying, if you view, I hate to use this example because, America was discovered and taken, but it was already inhabited by the Native Americans, right? So it's a terrible example to use, but let's just, for theory's sake, let's say there was nobody living on the land in America. When people went from Europe and land was wealth back in those days, right? Land was the primary wealth of society, and all the wealth got into the hands of the rich aristocrats in Europe, right? The landowners had all the wealth, and the normal people couldn't get anywhere as a middle class. So they said, to get wealth, we have to go to America and get land. And they went, and they risked their lives, and they fenced off and built out, and they gained wealth by risking everything to go there.
Many died doing so.
They did, and it's a story that people are willing to risk for a better life, always. This is a story of humanity. Humanity's always willing to take risks for a better life, some more than others. But now the digital world is the land grab, and this happens both in the metaverse and in the crypto space, right? Money is the new land, right? Banks print the money. They give it to very few people. They give it to the big rich businesses already. The rich can borrow more easily. The big businesses borrow easily. And so the wealth ends up all in the hands of very few people. It's not circulating well through the economy, and you get a lot of inequalities. But now, starting with Bitcoin, people said, we're going to just create our own money. Forget about these banks. We're going to create our own money. Forget the governments, forget the banks. We're creating our own money. That experiment was successful. And one notable thing to talk about since we last talked, El Salvador, a country, has adopted Bitcoin as a legal currency. So that's a big thing since we last talked till today. A country has made Bitcoin legal tender. That means if you were a business in El Salvador and I want to pay you with Bitcoin, you must accept it by law.
Yep. Not only that, lately I've been hearing a lot about athletes accepting Bitcoin for payment. I think the New York mayor said that he will be getting paid his first 2 salaries with Bitcoin.
Yeah, they pay employees of the Miami, city employees of Miami get paid. Those are people who want voluntarily, but El Salvador was really special because when a country makes it an official legal tender, it's a big, big statement, right? That puts it at the level of the other big currencies. And there's one other point I want to bump back to, because today's exciting because these 3 ideas are just so much in them. But to make it exciting for the listeners to understand why all this is so relevant, I'll make it very relevant. On the day that you and I last talked, I think it was April 15th of last 2021, which in America, that's, I think, tax day, which is kind of ironic because if on that day, if all the listeners, if on April 15th, when we talked 9 months ago, all the listeners had put 100 euros into the token Shiba Inu,
Oh my God! Don't tell me about Shiba Inu.
And
I'll tell you a story later.
Had they also bought one piece of the Bored Ape Yacht Club collection, which was $190.
That's an NFT collection of JPEG monkeys. I'm going to ask you later on about
Correct.
that.
So if, let's just say that nobody might know, they should research what those are, because if on that day they'd put $100 into Bitcoin, $190, and bought one NFT called a Bored Ape, they would have made 3,000 times their money. They would have 300,000 euros today. And there are hundreds of thousands of people, young people around the world, who did do that. So actually,
kids in their bedrooms.
Kids made millions of dollars. It's not like the lottery, because the lottery is won by one person. Some people could go, oh, it's like winning the lottery because it's so unlikely that you'll find one. No, Shiba Inu was a community of hundreds of thousands of people in Reddit groups that decided to adopt Shiba Inu and make it their own, right? They bought it, they held it, they started to use it, and they gave it the value. So that currency was worth $14 million when we talked. Today it's worth $18 billion, and that's only 9 months later.
Are you talking about the Shiba Inu thing?
Shiba Inu. Yeah. That means 180,000 people all made $100,000. Okay, that if you put it in that perspective, that means 180,000 people's lives were changed at the massively significant level, young people. The same thing happened with the Bored Ape Yacht Club. That's an NFT collection, which is just a JPEG image, right? But it's tied to the blockchain. I'll tell you what it is exactly. I can explain.
Because I was wondering, how on earth a JPEG monkey was sold for $150,000? I mean,
more than that. Eminem bought one last week for $435,000. So this is not something that should be a mystery. Okay, this is very logical. This is ancient behavior. Why do people want things that other people?
Yeah, flexing Rolexes, for example.
We like scarcity. Okay, or anything that gains scarcity. So you can have it, but I can't. You know, or I have it, but you want it. Anything scarce, we tend to value it. You know, because of our innate wiring, okay, for whatever reason.
Yeah, but again, don't you have to create value around that scarcity thing? A Rolex, it's gonna have greater value from my private labeling Rolex if I'm gonna be creating one. So
value is anything that humans put their attention on. Thank you. Is value. Anything that humans put attention on is value. And this is why that people are very confused about the digital space. They go, wait, but if there's a scarce rock that was found in Trollos Mountain that had sort of a pink and blue streak running through it, and it was the only one in the world, well, maybe we'd all go crazy over a rock, and there would be Russian billionaires coming over here and bidding $1 million for the rare rock because it's scarce. Because it's scarce. Now, what has happened is the blockchain gives the ability for digital things to be made scarce.
Can I just like print screen that ape and save it on my phone? One might ask.
Yeah, but you can't print screen the token that represents the ape. You can't clone that.
It has a unique ID?
Yes. That token, a Bored Ape, sits inside what it is a token on the blockchain, and inside the token, it has a URL that points to an image. Now, anybody can download the image, but nobody can take the token. There's only one. The only way you can get the token is if the owner transfers it to you. So what's happened is if I take a really good photo and I put it up on the blockchain, and it's verifiably me that put it there. So it's mine, I put it there, and I promise that I won't put another copy there. then the one that I put out is the only one that exists on the blockchain.
Is it going to be for sale though?
Yeah, and once it's on the blockchain, it can be bought, sold, and transferred all around the world digitally. So let's compare it to—
Who sets the price? Me?
The market. Yeah, but it's all market-based. So, if you look back at the trading card world, I don't know if I told you my trading card story. Did I tell you my Wayne Gretzky card story last time?
No.
I feel like I did.
Sports cards, right?
Yeah, when
Hockey?
I was hockey cards.
Yeah.
I thought I told you this.
No, it was pure guess, I promise.
Okay. Surprise.
You're Canadian, I mean.
Yeah, not that hard to guess, true. So when in 1979, when I was a 12-year-old kid in Canada, at the corner store in the country, I lived out in the country in the middle of nowhere, and the corner store would buy the packs of hockey cards. You guys probably did it here with football players and stuff, right? And
they weren't scarce though.
It was the year that Wayne Gretzky, one of the most famous hockey players of all time, was a rookie. Right. And I bought packs like every time I went in that store. So I actually had, I think, 7 Wayne Gretzky rookie cards. And in order to make this analogy to somebody 6 months ago, when I moved to Cyprus, I left my Wayne Gretzky rookie cards at my mother's house. And I have 5 younger brothers and sisters as well. And I left all my stuff when I moved to Cyprus and just left it in a garage, at my mom's house, right? I kind of abandoned it. And 6 months ago, I remembered my Wayne Gretzky rookie cards when I was telling somebody the story of NFTs, trying to explain to them it's just like trading cards. And I went online and I said, I wonder how much my Wayne Gretzky rookie cards are worth now after all these years, right? So I Googled it, and it turns out that the Wayne Gretzky rookie card that I had sold for $3.5 million US.
What? And you have 5?
7.
7.
7 of them.
You have or you had?
I had. They're in a garage, God knows where, and God knows who got them from my family, or if they're still in a garage.
Your younger brother.
I'll watch for which one of my brothers gets a private jet or something, right? He's the one. Well, yeah. So I think one of my brothers had them, but I didn't. I abandoned them. Really, I just forgot about all those things.
Yeah. How would you know?
So whoever got them, good for them. But 3.5 million. Now that was for a perfect card. I think I did have 2 that were kind of mint perfect condition. But it shows you that this market's been going on forever. And why do we buy? Why? Because we trust that there was only so many of those printed, right? That they can't be counterfeited, or that the company secretly doesn't have a warehouse in the back where they have 8. They were printed in a factory, right? How do we know that in 1979, one of the employees didn't print off another 10 million Wayne Gretzky rookie cards and he's running around 30 years later selling them? So the blockchain makes it more verifiable to somebody, whether it's scarce and that whether it's the original, you can trace it all the way back to the owner and who published it. It makes it transparent again, which creates trust in economy. It also makes it easy to sell because I just put it online. And imagine how hard it is to sell on eBay let's say it wasn't 3.5 million, but like an uncomfortable low number where it's not enough money to hire a lawyer, but it's a risk. Let's say it was a $10,000 card, and I put it online on Amazon, and I'm going to sell it. And so what I'm going to send the guy the card before he sends me the money, or is he going to send me the money before I send him the card? Yeah, and how does he know what the condition of the card is? What if it's so he's going to have to fly to see me and check it out? So you see, it kills the market, right? Because you can't sell 10,000. He'd have to fly to check it out. He'd have to hire a lawyer to hold it in custody. So I would give the card to the lawyer, and he would give his money to the lawyer, and then the lawyer would, give me exchange it. So that the second is that the reason I didn't know what my Wayne Gretzky rookie card was worth was because sometime in maybe 1990, I did go check what my cards. I was trying to find out how much is a Wayne Gretzky rookie card worth, and this is like early internet, where you couldn't really find that on a search engine. I couldn't search like how much is a Wayne Gretzky, 1990 in particular, how much is a Wayne Gretzky rookie card worth? Okay, couldn't find out on the internet. There wasn't any available information about it. And so I had to go around to a little corner store, you know, in a shopping mall where there's some guy who sells comic books and collectibles, and you know, he's completely like they joke about a used car salesman and being not trustworthy. This is like way down from a used car salesman. This is a guy with comic books and baseballs and
pawn shop.
It's close to a pawn shop, yeah. But you know, the guy told me, I showed him my Wayne Gretzky rookie cards. He goes, "Oh, it's worth $400."
He knew.
You know?
He knew.
Well, he knew it was probably worth way more.
Yeah.
But how would I find that out? I'd have to go drive to everybody in the city. They probably would all tell me something similar, right? Because they're trying to buy it from you for $400 and sell it for $4,000 the next day from the ignorant guy who doesn't know. Or I'd have to go to a show in Florida where it's hockey, or up in Toronto where it's a hockey card collectibles, where they would tell you, somebody there would tell you, hey, that's one's worth a lot of money, you know. It's too much work. So nowadays you can do all that online, and so they've supercharged what used to be the trading collectibles market by using NFTs, or just supercharged trading cards that you don't have any of those problems I just described to you. You know, you can verify the authenticity. You know that you can well, here's an example. Let's say you today downloaded. You tried to sell me a Bored Ape Yacht Club, a Bored Ape from the Bored Ape Yacht Club, and you just showed me the picture on your phone and said, "Hey, Steve, I've got the Bored Ape here, and I'll sell it to you for $5,000." Like a Rolex in the back of a, you know,
yeah.
the guys on the street say the Rolex for $50, and I can easily check this out. I'll just say, first. That has to be attached to the blockchain address. Okay, so I say, I don't want the image, I want the token that points to the image. The image is public. It's the token that gives it the scarcity. I want to buy the token that represents that Bored Ape. Can you sell me that? If you can sell me that, and you say, yes, I can sell you it. So I ask you, you know, what's the ID, token ID? I can look it up on the blockchain, and I can trace its history immediately and say, yours isn't the real one, because here's the original address of the collection, and yours didn't come from the original address.
Yeah, point somewhere else.
Correct. So it's immediately verifiable. And then when you would sell it to me, the blockchain transfers it so that even if it was $1 million sale, you don't even have to meet me. Let's say you had the real one now, and you said, I'll sell it to you for $1 million. I'll say, I'll buy it. I would, even if you didn't even know me, and I didn't know you. You don't have to trust me, and I don't have to trust you. I know that you've got the real thing. I make an offer on that specific item for $1 million through the blockchain. You accept it, and the blockchain gives you the money and sends me the card with guaranteed, you know, like if you, there's no chance you can get the money and I don't get the...
Who sets the price? The market?
Well, you can set the price. And then I can either pay that price or I can bid. So it's also an auction system, you know? You could set a price $2 million and I bid $1 million. Then you choose to accept it or not. Or I can just decide that there's too many bids that are going above me and I just buy it at your price. So it's a buying system. So the blockchain's acting like an authenticity system, a buying system, a transfer system, a custody system. And also my Wayne Gretzky cards in my mom's garage could have had a water leak on them for the last 15 years and they're all ruined. A Bored Ape is digital. You know, it's not going to get ruined. It's going to be in mint. You see what I mean? There's a lot. It could live for 1,000 years. It could live for 100,000 years. As long as there's magnets and energy going, that thing's going to live on. As long as there's computers running, it's going to live.
How can someone buy an NFT?
So...
where do we start?
You buy an NFT the same way that you buy cryptocurrency.
How do I choose what NFTs I'm going to buy?
Well, these are the tricks, and it comes back to the keyword that you said at the beginning, which is community. Both NFTs and I'll give you the formula. Basically,
let's start with the basics.
A cryptocurrency gets its value from community adoption, from its brand. How cool is the brand? And from how useful is the thing? Does it have a special use, a special...
a utility?
Utility.
Yeah.
And those are the three factors you look at. So if the thing has if it's got a really cool brand like Dogecoin or Shiba Inu, which had, the dog, that's a really cool brand. And they had a really passionate and large community. So it needed almost no utility because it had two of the three really strong. And now Dogecoin's worth $22 billion and Shiba Inu's worth $18 billion, okay? And they have very weak utility. I mentioned that last time we talked, that Dogecoin and them have a very weak utility, but if a community adopts them, they do. So you're looking for tokens that have either two of those three characteristics, the most important being community. Really, it's the communities are by far the most important thing. The next most important thing is brand, and the next most important thing is utility. Utility more speaks to whether the thing will be around in 15 years, right? Longevity, right? Shiba Inu got the adoption and Dogecoin got the adoption because a large community of people said, we're going to make it our thing. Yeah. We're going to use it. And because they're using it, movie theaters in US are accepting it. It's accepted all kinds of places. It's got big volumes on exchanges. So it became real.
It got viral as well on social, TikTok and stuff.
Yeah.
They
had Elon Musk pushing them as well. So you're looking for tokens that are going to get adoption by a lot of people. You don't want to get a token that only 50 people are going to like, or you want to see that a big community of people is going to adopt that thing. And it's the same with an NFT collection. You're looking for a community of people that will really enjoy and love that collection. Maybe because it's quirky, maybe for whatever reasons. But also now, NFT collections are starting to get brand, of course, and utility. NFTs are starting to get utility. For example, the most famous and first NFT collection was called CryptoPunks.
Yeah.
And if anybody doesn't know what that is, just go Google CryptoPunks. Do it as one word and go look at that. And you'll laugh when you see that JPEG image of a CryptoPunk, and I tell you that they're selling
pixelized, right?
Pixelized, strange little images that you probably wouldn't pay 25 cents. You wouldn't pay €1 for. If a homeless guy was trying to sell you one of these pictures, you'd probably give him €2 to go away, and not €1 for the piece. However, these now sell. One of them sold for over $100 million very recently. One single of these, and it's because it's scarce. And because there's a huge community of people who are interested in it, and it became iconic. It became rare, like the first NFT collection. And it's rare. It's got 10,000 pieces in it.
It got a community behind it, though. A lot of famous people pushing it, YouTubers.
Yes.
Entrepreneurs.
That's the point. It got community. It has digital scarcity enforced by the blockchain. There can never be more than 10,000 of those pieces. If you're going to buy one, you can for sure immediately within 5 minutes trace it right back to the original address and know that you're getting the real thing. Also, when you buy it, you don't have to be scared that someone will rip you off. You are going to get the original piece, and your money cannot be taken without you getting the original piece. Then once you have it, it's yours, and you can immediately resell it if you want. Somebody may pay even more. So it had huge community adoption, and it has scarcity. It didn't really have a utility, though, but nobody cared because it was just unique. It had enough rareness and uniqueness. Then the next really big one was the Bored Ape Yacht Club, which is pictures of apes, weird-looking apes, 10,000 of them again.
Looking good apes.
Those were sold, initially it was $190 per ape to buy them.
One, I think.
Yeah, they got a lot of celebrities started to buy them. Now, maybe those celebrities were paid to do that or not.
I was about to tell you.
But it did become a cultural phenomenon in any case. Like I noticed at the World Series of Poker, when I was watching the tables, the guys had T-shirts with the Bored Ape that they had bought on their shirt. It's like wearing a Rolex, right?
Yeah, they were flexing them.
If you roll up to the table and you sit down and somebody goes, "Hey man, you've got a Bored Ape? Is that the one you bought?" Okay, you could be lying, right? You could just be some idiot that wears a T-shirt pretending, but that's the same as a fake Rolex, right?
Yeah, just a flex stick.
But what's the difference if you buy a Ferrari? Why do you buy a Ferrari? Because you need to go faster?
Status.
It's status, And so having a Bored Ape status, they also have some access to some special parties, and you're part of a club, and it might open up business opportunities for you. It might open up conversations. Like I said, if you wear it to maybe you're wearing a Bored Ape on a plane and the guy next to you goes, hey man, that's awesome, I have a Bored Ape too. And then you end up doing a big business deal with the guy because you have something in common to talk about. And again, he knows your status. If you own a Bored Ape, that means you're progressive, you're an early thinker, you're a marketing-oriented thinker, you're hip, you're cool, you took risk, you have money. It means, it says something about you in a sense.
You get to a network of people.
Yeah, if you have a Bored Ape,
billionaires maybe.
Yeah, it says something about you. And now there's lots of collections coming out, and we're doing some as well. And we're doing the first
Who
football.
are we, for the ones who don't know us?
Okay, so we have 3 big crypto projects going on in the worlds that you just said, NFTs, Metaverse, and traditional tokens. Our traditional token is called the football coin, and TFC acronym. And that's part of the football app ecosystem. So we have a football app, kind of like a Instagram, Twitter kind of app for football. And we have adopted our own token inside that to be used to pay for ads and used in our commerce system. That's a traditional cryptocurrency like Bitcoin or something. That project's going extremely well.
How many users do you have?
Hundreds of thousands and growing. And it's becoming a very famous project. So I think we're really doing Cyprus some good PR here, because this year is our breakout year. We just got listed, we just got the commitment to list on 5 very large exchanges just last week. And these exchanges have
Congrats, Binance.
It's one level below Binance.
Oh, okay.
But Binance is $18 billion a day of volume. The exchanges we're listed on are 12 billion. So you're talking about, that's per day. Can you imagine $12 billion of trading per day? How big is that market? That's New York Stock Exchange.
When are you going to get
stuff.
listed?
3 weeks it goes live.
So shall I assume that the value of TFC will go up?
Well, I think the first thing that will go up is the volume, the volume of trade, the liquidity. The volume, the price, people will look at the same analysis that I just gave you. They'll look at the football coin and they'll say, does this look like something that will get adopted by a big community? Is it a cool brand?
It already has a community though.
Well,
some might say, okay, they have like 500 million users, let's say.
Well, let's put it in, and the third is, does it have a utility? Is it got a use case in the real world and exclusive use cases? And we have that. So let's put it in perspective. Remember what I told you there, that Shiba Inu was a community of a few hundred people when we talked last time. It was just launching. It launched, it was April 15th, $14 million. It was a small community of people. And now it's held by 1 million people, okay? So we already have a few 100,000, and we have a football app launching into Brazil, okay? So you can figure out from that, like, will we likely get a big community? We have a lot of advantage there. The second thing is we have a utility of exclusivity, that TFC is the only way to buy NFTs about football inside of our app. We have a whole NFT system inside the football app now. It went live like 1 month ago. And the only way to buy the NFTs in the football app is to buy TFC.
So you buy TFC and then you buy the NFT.
Correct. We also, the only way to buy ads inside of the football app, you have to pay with TFC. So there's exclusive use cases. Third, we managed to get a Scottish Premier League club to accept TFC as the to buy tickets. It's Livingston FC in the Scottish Premier League, and you can buy tickets and merchandise for their matches with TFC. And we have many businesses in Cyprus who accept TFC for payment for goods and services. So you can see that we are probably the CZ, the founder of Binance, posted something a few days ago, and he said, which is the project that you know that has the highest performance of fundamentals, but is the least known?
Yeah, underrated.
Yeah, like under unknown or not well known. They have the least publicity, but they're kicking ass. And a whole bunch of people posted TFC back to him. Yeah, because
when was that?
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
And one of, so we're starting to get attention. And now that these exchanges will bring a big spotlight on us and big people will be able to look at us for the first time and analyze for themselves, is this going to be a big token as big as Shiba Inu, bigger, smaller? They get to figure it out. But for your viewers who might have missed Shiba Inu, missed Dogecoin, missed Bitcoin, missed all of them, here's something local that they can look at and analyze, and even go into the chat rooms and talk to the community or ask questions about people so they can learn how to make their own decision about that. Obviously, being one of the founders of the project, I obviously see it as all rosy, right? But people have to look from their own perspective and analyze that is that a good investment?
The great thing is, what you said, you don't get to decide the value of your currency.
Yeah, it's the people that the market decides it,
itself, yeah.
And it's up to them. We present them an opportunity of something they can adopt. We give them a tool, and is this the game you want to play? Is this do you back this idea? Do you back this thing?
Does the app act like a wallet as well?
Yeah, it has.
Can I hold a Bitcoin inside my wallet?
Not Bitcoin. You can hold.
Not yet.
No. We don't need Bitcoin. We only hold the tokens that we need to use in our ecosystem.
Your own tokens.
It's mostly for the internal use of our tokens, right? Like we easily could do wallet, but there's no value for us in it. There's plenty of wallets out there, but we do have a crypto wallet inside the football app to hold the football coin, to hold NFTs, to be able to do staking programs, to be able to pay payment systems, pay local businesses, pay for tickets and stuff. It's a huge machine. So we have that project. The second project we have is kind of like a NFT site for sports.
Yeah, tell me more about it.
It's the biggest site for NFTs is called OpenSea. Yeah. And OpenSea.io. That's the biggest site. They just raised $300 million at a $12 billion valuation last week. And it's like a new company, right? I mean, it's a big, and they don't have their own token. They just sell NFTs and they get commissions on the money, and it's worth a lot of money because NFTs. This is a great number for you. I'm going to tell you some numbers your audience might not know. In the year 2000, there was, in 2020, there was about $12 million of NFT sales in that year. In total sales of NFTs in 1 year.
2020.
Yeah, around 12 million. 2021, there was $240 million of sales in 2021. And if you were reading the press in 2021 and they were telling you how big will the market be in 2022, they said, wow, next year it might be like, over $1 billion. Well, 2020, I'm 1 year off, sorry. 2019 was 12 million. 2020
was 200.
I'm sorry. 2019 was 12 million. 2020 was 240 million. 2021, which just ended, was 18 billion.
Damn.
Now, that market grew so fast, so big. Do you understand why the mania? Like you're talking about, that's the fastest growing market in the history of humankind.
And still, how many people hold a crypto and how many people trade NFTs? Not even 1% of the entire, let's say, human population that has disposable income.
Not even close to 1% of people in the world have an NFT. You're still talking about, I would say, 1 in 10,000 people who have a.
How many millions around the world? Let's say 100 millions? Not even?
The maximum 100 million people have $1 into a cryptocurrency or an NFT. Maximum. I think that it's less than that. Maybe 50 million, 30 to 50 million. No one knows exactly because you can know there are 100 million plus wallets, but maybe one person has 1,000 wallets each.
You don't know how many people hold the euro. currency, for example.
Yeah, you can get a sense of it because like the exchanges who do verify you as an individual person do have millions and millions and millions of people. So let's just say maybe it's 50 million people on a planet of 6 billion, right?
And what's the potential in 5 years? Let's say 1 billion?
Well, the potential is that 3 billion, that it will be the primary mechanism through which all money is, not all, but let's say Bitcoin is now the 6th largest currency in the world adopted by El Salvador. So Bitcoin is already in the top 6 currencies in the world, bigger than the ruble in total international transaction value, in the amount of international transactions. You're talking about a complete takeover. You know, crypto's taking over. The old system's going away. The new system's coming in. And the simplest way is to say that the market caps right now for crypto is around $2 trillion. So $2 trillion of wealth has come into the world in the last 10 years from crypto and NFTs. NFTs, 18 billion is a small number compared to $1 trillion, but it's a big number still, isn't it? So I'm saying that crypto will go 80 times higher on its current trajectory over the next 5 years, 80 times higher. So there's another $79 trillion of wealth to be had. And who will get it is the people who get into it earlier. And it's the same as anything. You know, it's like people had the same skepticism about mobile phones. They had the same skepticism about the internet. If you go back, and I lived through all these transitions, right? It's the same story every time. People going, oh, the internet is stupid. We have radio. Why do we need to listen to the radio over the internet? The internet is a fad. It's a bubble. It's digital bullshit. Oh, not so much now. It's obviously different case, right? So crypto is already proven. And the question is, when do you get involved at this point? Do you get involved early or late? There's some risks and rewards for being early, right? You could get burned by being early and not knowing what to make a mistake.
Yeah, but you set your own risk. I mean, if you like play or invest, you do so with your pocket money. You don't do it with your, I don't know, your putting your house against the loan and then buying some crypto.
Correct. Like, I would say for young people, they should be just instead of going out one night, just take it and stuff it into a token that you find and buy an NFT and find a way to make up for a small amount of money. And like you said, that's really, really smart, but it's certainly important to get into it, because if this big transfer of wealth is happening, of basically instead of governments and banks and wealthy families creating all the money and getting all the wealth from that, and that's happening into the people now, you got to get it. You got to research and get into it.
Do you think that, is there a chance banks or governments to kind of regulate it?
Yeah,
how?
They're already regulating it because they can't stop it. They've tried and they failed to stop it. Last week, Pakistan said they're banning crypto. There's a very funny meme about China bans Bitcoin for the 9th time, and then we update the meme every time, for the 10th time, for the 11th time, for the 12th. If the ban worked, why did they have to ban it again? You know, the countries don't want to give up power to the people, right?
Yeah, but how are they going to control it, Steve? I don't get it. I mean, how they're going to, are we going to get taxed? Are we going to get, like, I don't know, how?
Yeah, what it comes down to is they have a lot of tools, right? You know, they can scare people. They can say, you know,
make it illegal.
Yeah, they could make it illegal. It just won't work, right? They could make it. Look, they made marijuana illegal. Did they ever stop it?
No.
Because for better or for worse, there's certain things that people want to do, and they're not going to stop just because it's illegal. It just changes the reward structure, as you know. They can't really stop it. They can make it harder. They can make it illegal, but that is very risky for them as well, because you know they can lose popularity. Candidates who support it, they haven't been able to stop it. They can regulate it. They do regulate it. And they're accepting it more than they're rejecting it. Only a few countries are trying to ban it. India banned it, then they changed their mind, and now they're thinking again. China banned it, and they banned it, and they banned it 11 times. And guess what? The more they ban it, the more popular it gets. China is the #1 Bitcoin holding country, and then they were the #1 mining country as well, until they banned mining. They banned Bitcoin mining, and all those miners just moved their rigs to America. Chinese companies just picked up and moved to America, connected to the power grid, and they're mining there. So the societal shift's happening. It will be regulated. It won't be stopped. There will be some projects that succeed now, and then in the future they don't exist. Remember, search engines like Lycos was big, and Yahoo was big, and America Online was an early internet provider in America. AOL, that I don't know if they had it in Europe, but
we did.
You had it, huh?
Yeah, we had access.
But now it's gone, right? But
they don't exist.
They were bought by Time Warner, and they don't even exist anymore. So things can change. But the thing is, this is a gold rush, a digital gold rush. Tokens and NFTs. It's the chance of people to participate in getting part of the wealth that was traditionally held up by the elites. And so it's very important to look at it. It's beyond the point of skepticism. 2 years ago, there was a lot of skepticism and people saying, I don't think it's going to work still. There's really not a legitimate case of skepticism now. It's just really about, it's a bit painful to learn a new subject and to feel like you're late. They're not late to come in. It's still early to come in now. Learn about NFTs, learn about cryptocurrencies. Take a look at projects where you can meet the founders as well, where you know who's behind it. Like here, we're a local company with a 2-year track record on our projects. The football app. The other one is called Panda C with the Panda token. And we're doing a Metaverse company, which is the Pandaverse. So we have, in all 3 spaces that are red hot, we have plays happening.
Tell me more about the Metaverse. Buying land on the meta. What does that mean?
Well, it's good. You see all the building blocks are cross-connecting. So how we talked about, the Metaverse is not a really new idea. Like I thought of the Metaverse as an idea probably 26 years ago. I remember scoping out, everything became possible once things became digital, right? The Metaverse is simply a digital interactive world, right? Like a social network meets a video game, merged together. But what's making the Metaverse happen now, why you're hearing about it, a lot of it is hype, but it is still very real, The Metaverse is just this idea of a virtual space and virtual reality. It's like, say, a new interface, a new way, a new land to explore. Do you know what's happened is that people are kind of, what I think the reason the Metaverse, I'm going to give you a little bit of philosophy, even though, and not boring philosophy. It'd be exciting to hear.
Never boring, Steve.
Yeah, it's a bit nerdy, but it's quite interesting that I think the birth of the Metaverse is from a deep human need of exploration. And what's happened now is the world, we've been everywhere pretty much, right? Or that we perceive we've been everywhere. And so, there's the promise of space, that, we went to the moon, and there's all these, and I'm a moon conspiracy person that I don't believe. Yeah, of course I am.
You never landed on the moon?
We never went to the moon.
Damn. We should do a podcast about the conspiracy around the moon.
Oh,
landing.
So okay, we went to the moon.
Yeah, we went to the moon.
In whatever, 1969, whatever it was. And everybody would thought by now, right? We'd all been to the moon at least once. If you're rich, you should have been able to go to the moon if that, So for whether we went to the moon or not, the idea that more than a couple of people, you can't go, right? Right now, there's no way for you to go to space. That's just mostly maybe Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, the Bezos, the Musk, and the Zacks.
Yeah, 1 or 2 guys, right? So that's not in the realm of what a normal person has any access to. So they can't go to space. Also, everywhere on the earth has been explored. There's no Indiana Jones territory left. There's a McDonald's somewhere in the middle of that Indiana Jones world, right? You get into the forest and you got your hat and you think you're in the wild and you come around the corner, there's the McDonald's. So everything's been explored and discovered, and we're like, we are going to go crazy down here. We need to get to space, or we need to go to a new place.
Yeah, now.
We need a new adventure. Yeah?
Not in 100 years now.
So now we're going to think, we're going to go into the Metaverse. Okay, it's like a digital space where we create our own world. Maybe you have a VR headset to see it or not. It could also be on your computer, or it could be in our mind. You see, this used to be books, right? When you read anybody who's ever read like the Chronicles of Narnia or J.R. Tolkien, you know, The Lord of the Rings, these were metaverses. You would go there in your imagination. He would walk you through this world and you would live it in your imagination. Well, now we're going to live it through some sort of VR headset, and we want it to be fully interactive. Not we're reading it and imagining it, but we're actually interacting in it. And you can buy pieces of it. You can do commerce. You can hold business meeting. And this is just a merger of all the technologies, what I told you, all the technology pieces being combined together. That, you know, we can. So the metaverse is just a collision born out of the deep need for us to have a new place to go, some new adventure somewhere, and that we don't read books anymore, right? We need to get that adventure through the computer, the phone, or the headset. And that it's the merger of all the interactive technologies we know. We want them all wrapped into one, you know? So I think that it's kind of fun. You know, some people say it's super creepy, and it is, but it's like a tool. Everything can be used for good, for bad, or for something, right? So the metaverse, the NFTs and the blockchain made it possible that you could own a piece of land in the metaverse because it's tied scarce on the blockchain on Earth, right? So actually you could sell land in a virtual world, put on an AR headset and go there. Somebody can buy that piece of land, and NFTs is what's making the metaverse monetizable. And once something's monetizable, then people will invest in it, right? So that's why Mark Zuckerberg said, I'm going to put $10 billion a year investing in the metaverse because now it's monetizable. And
how many virtual worlds are we going to have? How many metas are we going to have? Is it going to be books, like portals?
As many books as you have in the library.
I can go to the Zuck metaverse or the Bill Gates or the Musk, right?
Correct. And there is a funding disparity, though. Anybody could sit individually and write a book if they were persistent enough, right? But here, it's a lot of expense to create the technology, right? So realistically, you could theoretically have tons and tons of metaverses, but realistically, you're going to have as many metaverses as people can afford to build. And so the question is, which one is going to be the best? And I think it goes back to the imagination. And actually, you know, I'll give you you could go to the Zuckerberg metaverse, where if anybody's watched Mark Zuckerberg on TV talking or testifying in Congress, he is like a cyborg, right? I mean, he doesn't look like a guy that could tell you a very good bedtime story to his kids, or that could tell you a good story. He looks boring and mechanical. And I think that because of that, whatever he's going to produce, even if he hires imaginative people under him, I think he's going to sterilize everything and it's going to be garbage, even though it's going to be well produced with expensive technology. It will be some interesting for some people, and some people will like it. And there'll be some good things in it.
A lot of promos.
But he does not imagine. Where's the J.R. Tolkien? Now, the funny part of what I got into the metaverse was because the last thing I need is to do another project. But this is all happening so fast. I can't not play there, right? And an odd thing about me is because I understand the technology, but I have an imagination. I used to write fiction books as well. So actually, I could talk to you with stories. I could tell you fiction. I could tell you my book and movie things. I could make up a movie and tell you the script and keep you spellbound, I'm sure. You might stay with me out of courtesy, but I think you'd actually be like, whoa, that's an amazing idea. So I think people who can imagine a good universe and then build it and have the funds to build it, and we have all those things. And we have wargaming here in Cyprus, right? So when it gets to the point that we need a technology partner to build the VR side of it, we know who to talk to, right? They're right here in Nicosia.
Are we going to talk to them, though?
Oh, yeah.
Do you think that us Cypriots have a vision around the metaverse and stuff?
Yeah, I've collaborated with Andreas Saleas and some guys, two Cypriots, and Andreas Pavlou, Andreas Saleas, and a few of my friends in Thailand, and myself. We dreamed up a metaverse, and it's called the Pandaverse. And it has a whole storyline. It's like a book, right? It's an idea. It's a fun idea. The idea was based on saying that there was this mythological, it was true actually, there was a, CERN in Switzerland, there's this Hadron Collider. It's this weird thing they built in Switzerland to smash particles together and try to discover the God particle. It's very conspiracy mysterious, but it's a real thing.
Yeah,
okay?
It's not a tunnel, it's a ring. It's
a ring, yeah, built in Switzerland. They spent billions building it. It's a very mysterious thing. And in 2008, I think, there was an accident and it blew up part of the Large Hadron Collider. And there was all these conspiracies at the time going, oh, they created a black hole or it's going to suck us in the universe. I never believed any of that. But I used that myth and we said during the September 16th, 3:20 p.m., Large Hadron Collider blows up and creates a black hole to another parallel universe.
A wormhole.
A wormhole.
Yeah, a wormhole.
And data from Earth leaked through the ether into a land inhabited by pandas and transformed it. And basically, only the good things of Earth went through. Okay, none of the negative things we have here. Only the good things we've done.
Yeah, love,
got through.
compassion,
yes. Fun, sports,
altruism, celebrities, music.
But the fun stuff too, business, brewing beer.
Burgers.
And so the pandaverse, there were just pandas on the land roaming in peace. And all of a sudden this wave is called the fan rong, the boom. In Chinese, the word fan rong means boom. So the boom hit, transformed the land into all these Earth-like lands. And some of the pandas became bipeds. Some of them learned how to brew beer, play football, do games. Other pandas, there's a place, Hong Kong, it became Bong Kong because it's the business capital of the pandaverse. But because pandas are chilled out, they don't like to work like 70, 90-hour weeks. They work a maximum 6 hours. Then they're stressed out from that, so they go to the bong cafes, right? So they learned how to smoke bamboo. They learned how to brew beer. Pandas need to eat all the time, right? And so there's a land called Englandia, which is based on England, of course.
Englandia.
And the pandas became bipeds and they play football. But because they need to eat constantly, they had to find a way to get nutrition fast. So they brewed bamboo into beer so they could go to the match and get out of the bamboo eating routine long enough. So this idea is just like a really fun.
So that's the pandaverse?
It's a metaverse filled with games, filled with, you can own land, you can interact with it, you're going to be able to go into it in the VR, you can own a team in the pandaverse of pandas, and you can play for real prize money inside, it gets tracked in the football app. So it's a whole world, it's not just a single game, it's a whole world filled with all kinds of unique adventures and opportunities and fun, and it's also very clean, very organic, very natural. You know what I mean? It's an innocent idea. It's not one of those fast motion lands where you're building, the Minecraft where you're moving really fast and you're doing things and you're cutting in swords. There's no killing in the pandaverse. Everything's slow and chill. And one of the adventures is you go into the sacred forest. You have to go through Bong Kong and you have to visit a business there and hear what you might have an office in Bong Kong. So virtually I will come into your office. I have to go somewhere. You will give me a pitch what your business does. It might be a virtual AR guy. And I will listen to the pitch.
Am I going to hold an avatar?
You'll have an avatar. Yeah. And you'll have a sales pitch and you'll tell me about your business. I'll have chosen to hear your sales pitch because I need you to give me a ticket to go into the sacred forest so I can go look for the rare brown panda and win millions of dollars if I find him, and just explore the adventure of the land. So I have to go to a business, hear your sales pitch, and then I get the pass, and then I can enter the sacred forest, which is like mind-blowing terrain. It's going to be, Unreal Engine, super VR game, but you're going slow motion through the woods. You see these incredible waterfalls. You're trying to track a rare brown panda. And you can build a bamboo tree house up there and you can just chill out with your friends. But if you do find a rare brown panda, you win millions of dollars of crypto and you get a pass to the sacred temple where you get to talk to some of the ancient Lao Tzu and some of the Asian masters, And so it's it's got a book, it's like storyboard-ish. Yeah. You can buy land, you can build things, you can do business, you can have an office, you can own a football team, you can graze your panda on the land and look for this discoverable gold. It's like a whole theme.
And you're currently working on it?
Yeah. We actually have...
Don't you need technological infrastructure? I mean, what about the headsets?
But we have...
Who's going to provide them?
But yeah, we have 15 years of technological infrastructure, right? So we're just building on top of the layers we have. But when it comes to the gaming, because we're not a game development company, to build out the visual side of the sacred forest, like the football matches and all that, we can already do. You could just play that through a phone. You don't go into a VR world. You just see, you buy your team through NFTs. Each player is an NFT, and that the smart contracts, my team plays against your team, and the smart contract figures out who would have won based on the skills of the players. And then it gets updated in the football app, and the game gets played. And our teams might have been played, and a live score goal came in the middle of our discussion here, and we checked, my team just scored on your team. And so it's a trackable league. But when it comes to certain parts of the Pandaverse, they're going to be VR enabled, and we need to partner with a company that can build, world-class Grand Theft Auto Plus kind of graphics. And, either you hire the people to do it yourself, or you partner with the company that already has, tremendous expertise.
I don't know, in Russia, in Belarus, somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe.
One way or the other, we're going to need a partner to do that part. But we can start with the other parts. We can launch the Bamboo Land, which we will. We'll launch Bamboo Land in the first few months. Within 2 months, we'll put Bamboo Land live, where you can buy a panda, you can graze him on the land, and you can discover gold, which can become, you can mine a cryptocurrency called E232. It's part of, I got to tell you this part, because this gets really crazy, but it's like almost absurd to exaggerate and show how challenge the mind. So,
but is it absurd? I mean, if you pitch that idea to my son, who's playing Fortnite, who's playing Minecraft, he will understand. My father won't understand. My father will understand, but let's say my father, a typical Cypriot 60-year-old, won't understand. But we don't care about them. Yeah. I mean, we love them, but we don't care about them.
Yeah, it's for the next generation. Yeah. So there's this big debate on the earth about gold or Bitcoin, which is the better asset, right?
Yeah, but you cannot compare something that existed over, how many years we know gold? 2,000 years, maybe more? Bitcoin? Was Bitcoin from the 80s?
No.
90s?
2008.
Yeah, the technology behind Bitcoin.
Yeah, it started late 1990s and 2002. I had all kinds of friends. I know people from the early world of this. They were doing something called BitGold, and it was evolving, but it was 2008 that Bitcoin was 2009 it was officially born. But the point is, there's a debate between the gold community and the Bitcoin community. And the Bitcoin people also look down their nose on what they call the altcoins, or what they call shitcoins. The literal term they call it is shitcoins. Now, I just told you that since our April 15th talk 9 months ago, Bitcoin has stayed about the same in price. Ethereum went up about 28%, but Shiba Inu went up 300,000 times. In that, a shitcoin was a 300,000 times gain in 9 months. Do you see what I mean? So, but the Bitcoin people call them shitcoins. So the gold people call Bitcoin a mirage and not real, and the Bitcoin people call all the other cryptos shitcoins. So to play the ultimate mind twist on this, what I did was, in the world of Pandaverse, in Bamboo Land, which is it's like Greenland, but instead of being cold, it's lush rainforest of bamboo forest, right? 2.1 million square miles of bamboo forest. And during the Fanrong, when the wormhole energy from Earth slammed through and did the transformation, all the panda crap was alchemically transformed into gold at that moment. All the fresh panda droppings in bamboo land was transformed into gold called Yi-Tuan. And Yi-Tuan means round, shiny pile in Chinese.
It does?
Yeah. So Yi-Tuan, round, shiny pile.
Is that true, or is part of the script?
It's basically a pile of shit turned into gold.
Okay.
Okay. So now.
I mean, the word you said, is it truly?
Yeah, Yi-Tuan. We actually use these real words.
Okay.
And so bamboo land is covered with 21 million pounds of Yi-Tuan. And it's coated into the land. And it can be discovered. You can discover the gold with a panda. You buy an NFT of a panda, and you buy a piece of land, or you rent access to go on the land, and your panda roams around eating bamboo. And if he stumbles upon some Yi-Tuan, he mines it, he takes it. And that's now gets converted to a cryptocurrency here that you can sell on Earth. So you can see what I've done is create gold out of shit in a virtual world that can be sold here as a token on Earth to buy real things, which is pretty funny, isn't it? But, you know, it is challenging people to understand that I pushed it to the theater of absurd for people to understand that wherever human attention is, that's where the value is. So if people value that and they play that game and they want to mine that and they, you know, it will work, right? And that something, I mean, it's kind of funny, but I'm just stretching you out to say that is the metaverse, is the mixture of imagination with NFTs, with
communities,
technologies, and VR. You know, not all VR. The metaverse doesn't have to be VR, but part of it has to be VR, right? Part of the metaverse is to go into this space where you imagine you're in a new world, and I think it's kind of cool. And you're going to get some abusive versions of that are negative for people, and you'll get some fun ones that are positive experiences for people. But we're playing in all the three. So for your listeners, they can definitely go into the football app and ask anything they want in the chat rooms to learn about this stuff, because we try to help people learn about crypto, not just we don't just push what we're doing. We genuinely try to educate people and give them the tools to learn about this new world, and they can experience some of it. And this is, again, they can support a Cyprus-based project that is getting, it looks like 2022 is our big year, our big breakout year, and all three of these projects will catch in this calendar year.
So we will set a new podcast date in 8 months from now. I mean, if nothing else happens.
It would be great. It's a great check mark, right? Really, to say in 9 months how many things are going to happen and how we progress and what happens in this industry. And I think it could be quite dramatic what happens in this period of time.
And what I say to people when I get asked, I mean, I don't tell them buy this and buy that. I don't take it on me, okay? I'm not an advisor. I'm a learner. I say to them, you are still early on. You didn't miss the train. You are early on. Forget about the $10 worth of Bitcoin. Forget about it.
Yeah.
Yet you're still early on.
They are. They're early on, and because it's not going away, it's essential to get involved in it. So if you're going to get involved in it, get involved early, where you get more opportunities at those big potential gains. You know, if you're able to discover something that has a very big community backing it, or an opportunity to reach a very big community, has some useful, real case, and has a very cool brand that has potential to be, you know, a strong. If you see a project and have those three ingredients, either in an NFT space or in a crypto space, that's an opportunity. You know, that should be evaluated. And the earlier that everybody gets into that world, the better. And it's not that hard. It's a big shock at first. It feels like, oh man, I'm in this new world and I don't understand anything about it. But if it's not going away, do you know what I mean? You got to get in there anyway. Think even 90-year-olds learned how to use the smartphone. Imagine how how they felt, you know, with the technological revolution of first computers and internet and phones, but yet the 90-year-olds
I think it's the
eventually.
pushback to the change. It's tough to accept that the world is changing, so
it's natural. It's natural, and it's stressful. Anything that causes you to have to change patterns, learn new things, but there are big rewards for being able to discover those new pockets of opportunity. And if you're going to have to learn it anyway, you might as well just do the learning curve earlier, because it's not going away. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger every single year. And in 8 months, I'm quite sure it'll be much, much bigger. I'll give you some predictions for the next 8 months so we can measure it when I meet you again. I think by the time we talk again in 8 months, the 3 projects that we're talking about will be like super well known, way beyond Cyprus. Like that's a prediction that will check me out on that. The second, I think that a few more countries will adopt Bitcoin as a legal currency within this next 8 months. And I think Bitcoin will be trading around $70,000 to $100,000. It's today $42,000. It'll be trading around $70,000. Yeah, it hit a high of 60. Yeah. But you know, it goes up in waves, right? Like waves coming in. It comes in. It's like the tide coming in, right? One wave comes way up the beach. You don't measure from the one wave that comes in. The whole body of water is coming slowly in, and some of the waves are hitting above. You worry about the fundamentals. I think that crypto will become a lot bigger in 8 months. A lot more Cypriots will be involved in it than are involved in it today. I think that there will be a little bit of a lull in the NFT. Like it'll be like we're in a bit of a mania phase for the next 8 months. I think there'll be a little bit of a lull. By the time we're talking, they'll be like, there's so many projects. So many people got burned on things that they got into that they didn't really understand the fundamentals.
Yeah, don't risk your money.
And then there'll be this temporary thing of going, I don't know, NFTs it was a fad. It will not be a fad, but it will be on a small, you know, because things go way up and then they go down and then they find their natural balance, right? That's the way all exciting things happen. So I think NFTs might be on a little bit of a lull in 8 months, but Bitcoin will be moving strongly ahead. And between now and 8 months from now, remember what I told you, that Shiba Inu went from 12 million to 18 billion. I will be definitely able to recite to you 4 or 5 projects in 8 months that go from 10 million to 18 billion. And 3 of the projects that we're doing have a potential to be in that pool, right? Which is kind of like amazing and daunting. But there, regardless if it's us or not, there definitely will be 4 or 5 projects that will be at least 1 NFT collection and 3 or 4 tokens that have tremendous gains. So there's my, we'll check this, we'll compare how well my thinking is. No one knows the future, but it's my best guess. And it'll be a good start point for us in the next conversation to go, how did things shake out in the 8 months since we talked?
Steve, always a pleasure talking to you. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, man.
See you in 8 months.
Cheers.